Hello everybody. Have you been into the shop since it reopened? It's a bit different. We have our lovely taps of wine, a couple of beers, nice stout in this Raspberry Ripple IPA from McColl's or whatever it's called. It's nice, it's very nice. As well as our normal beer range. This is taking a little bit of adjustment. Perspex screen. I forget how many times I've knocked it over. And probably more importantly, the wine. For me anyway. It's not that I don't like beer. I do. But I didn't become a beer merchant. I became a wine merchant. We've got our stacks. So if you're doing 6 bottles for £45, some of the stuff might come off here. It's a potluck case deal, 6 for 45. There's the likes of the Carmen Insignia range from Chile, some Pete's Pure. What else have we got? The Wolf Traps, the Robertsons from South Africa. Plus we have other stuff that we tend to stick in there as well. Some of the Pete's Pure White, and we tend to stick in. But it is a potluck deal, so you can get anything. But we never kind of under-deliver on quality and price. It's always a pretty good deal. Do of course have the 6 bottles for £40 deal going on still, which is an even better, kind of cost-effective way of buying your wine. 6 bottles for £40. That's like $667 a bottle. It's a pretty good deal. Why would you bother schlepping them home from the supermarket when we can deliver them at that price to you? But that's not what we're all about. We do have some exciting stuff in as well. So the Premier Cru Chablis are going well. Some of the claret that we got in is being picked up by a few people who like the kind of finer things. The Chablis look particularly good in the big bottle formats. Okay, let me show you. Come down here. Okay, so we'll start with France red wine. Domaine de Meloche Bourguil Vilvin, which is old vines. Bourguil is an appellation. Can you see that? In the Loire, producing red wines. Red wines mainly from Cabernet Franc. Okay. So why is this one any better? So Domaine de Meloche, I think he's a bit of a master. He makes some of the better stuff. Cabernet Franc, you'll associate it a little bit with Bordeaux, normally as a kind of blending grape. It's not the dominant grape normally, or you do see it in southwest France, like with the Lageril here, 1620 Cabernet Franc. But from the Loire, in the past when I've had them, they can be maybe a little unripe and austere, maybe a bit too light. But man, this guy just nails this one perfectly. You get plenty of kind of ripe fruit in there, kind of cassis, blackcurrant, hedgerow berries. It's brimming with fruit, but it's nice and ripe as well. You get a lot of body, but with a nice fine structure of tannin. I would say to anyone that kind of likes high-end Bordeaux, if you wanted to treat yourself, try something new, and not break the bank, this is perfect. It's only £12, so it's cheaper than the Pays d'Oc Cabernet Franc from southwest France, which is good, and it's half the price of some of my clarets that I would say are of similar quality. And for £12, you cannot go wrong for something with a very nice fine structure to it. Domaine let me get this right. Domaine La Loyenne Lirac. So what is Lirac? There we go. Lirac is an appellation in the Côte d'Or. Southern Côte d'Rône. It borders with Châteauneuf de Pape more or less. So what does that mean? So you're getting a wine of similar quality to Châteauneuf de Pape. Remember, we're not comparing apples with apples here. You can get good Châteauneuf de Pape, you can get ropey Châteauneuf de Pape, and I'm sure it goes for the same with Lirac. But in terms of comparing this with a good Châteauneuf de Pape, I've got a Châteauneuf de Pape arriving tomorrow, which is £32 a bottle, but it is very, very good. This is £18 a bottle. Same grapes that they use in Châteauneuf de Pape, same types of soil, same climate, but it just doesn't quite have the fame of Châteauneuf de Pape, so you tend to get a bit of a kind of a bargain with Lirac. So this is Grenache, Syrah, Cinsault and Mourvèdre. Mourvèdre for me, if you know anything about the wines I kind of recommend in here, I love it. I think it adds such quality and depth and kind of interesting value to any blend, let alone if you have 100% Mourvèdre sometimes, which I do have. Domaine Sarabande from Faugère in southwest France. But you get a very deep, well-structured wine here, with bags of body, loads of complexity to it, lovely kind of fine tannins, silky tannins on the finish. 18 quid, but absolutely wonderful. So I am becoming somewhat of a kind of unkind of willingly a specialist in Loire wines, and I think subconsciously it's for kind of many reasons. I do love their wines, and I feel that they're kind of underrepresented in the UK. I don't think there's a region in the world that produces such a variety of wines. You know, you get some very, very high-end sparkling wines from the Loire, great dessert wines from Anjou, starting with Côte de Léon, Bonazur, Côte de Charme, some of the sweet wines of Savinière, and some of the finest still wines in the world as well. So dry Savinière, Sancerre, Pouilly-Fumé, which everyone knows, and some of the other, the dry Chenin styles are fantastic as well. And their reds can be great. That Bourgueil that I just showed you before, a great red. So I like them a lot, and the range is kind of growing week by week. I've got 2 Muscadets by Domaine de Bretonnière, and I also have their Cru. So in 2011 or 2012, they established several Cru communes in Muscadet, with kind of noted for having good aspects, for vineyards, great subsoils. So by these guys, I also get their Clisson, and I've got a big pile of that arriving soon. We've just sold out of the last of it, but well worth a look. From Brissac, a BDP Sauvignon, which is unreal for the money, for 12 quid, is absolutely fantastic. I would stick it up there with some of the Côte de Giennois, the Menetou Salon, even some Sancerres. Fantastic value if you want a very elegant, classy Sauvignon Blanc. Love this producer, Émile Balland. I've got a few things by him, but his Côte de Giennois is kind of one of his entry-level wines, is phenomenal. Again, Sauvignon Blanc from an appellation just slightly north of Sancerre. So in terms of general regional characteristics you get in a wine, again, a bit like a Sancerre, it does have its own kind of telltale nuances that make it individual. But yeah, love this producer. I've got his Croc Caillou White Sancerre, and I also have his Red Sancerre as well, which I think is possibly the best Pinot Noir in the shop. under £30. It's that good. Domaine Lebrun, an old favourite of mine, Poulet Fumé, and Domaine Juan, Manitou Salon. So yeah, Loire is well represented in this shop, and there's more to come as well. I've ordered more of the Domaine Meloche Bourguil, but also his Saint Nicolas Bourguil, which is a kind of, again, it's a kind of a cru above just normal Bourguil. And Muscadet as well, don't overlook Muscadet. It's quite a confused style, I think, and even actually I was doing some research online about Muscadet, and from quite a kind of well-known American forum, one of the top answers on Google when someone was inquiring about Muscadet, it confused it with sweet muscats of other regions, and I was a bit taken aback by that, but it maybe goes some way to explaining why people are a bit standoffish with it. Muscadet is nothing like Muscat. It sounds similar, but that's where the similarities end. Muscadet is made from a grape called Melon de Bourgogne, which is a very crisp, neutral style of wine, and Muscadet is just merely the region that gives it its name. But you get some very fine, crisp, delicate white wines, and because there's no kind of strong aromatic qualities to the grapes or overly fruity qualities to the grape, you get a sense of terroir, the soil with it, which is very, very mixed in Muscadet. And you get that more so in the cru that I was telling you about, the Clisson. So yeah, give these a go. Obviously the classic match is Moule Marinière, a bag of mussels, kind of steamed in white wine, or white wine and cream, or white wine and chili. It's one of my favourite kind of meals to have on holiday, especially if you're in a kind of port town by the sea, and normally like their plat de jeu will be, or one of them at least will be, Moule Marinière and frites. So beers, what is happening with beers? So we've got the draft on still, we've got the Wylam Imperial Macchiato double hazelnut praline coffee porter, and we also have caps off raspberry something or other Ripple IPA. It's really good. It's got like a really creamy texture to it, a little bit of sweetness, like a kind of lactosey kind of taste, but a bit of raspberry fruit as well. So that's a good kind of segue into the Caps Off range. Brewed at Bishop Auckland by Caps Off, the bottle shop and bar. It still is a bottle shop and bar, but they've just taken to brewing some of their own stuff, and man, it's good. The West Coast IPA, fantastic, a lovely kind of dry hop style IPA. The general IPA is good, pale ale is good as well. But I think the best beers, I think personally for me, we tried the porter and the stout, and man, they are so good, really delicious. I think more for me the porter. It's got a little bit more kind of body and sweetness to it, but couldn't recommend these enough. Steam Machine. I've had these last year. So the Brinkburn Street collab. The Kolkata East Indian Export Stout is good, lovely dry style of espresso stout, of export stout. You've got your triple fruited Gosa here, all along the hedgerow. I'm a massive fan of Gosa. I don't like really sour tart beers, but I just love the freshness and the slightly kind of soured nature of a Gose, or Gosa. And then they've done these as well, these big bottle format beers. So you've got the Grand Bazaar, which is a Imperial Corab cinnamon and green cardamom stout at 11.6%. And then you've got that Appalachian Trail, which I think is a quadrupel. Yeah, Belgium-inspired quadrupel on American bourbon wood. They're both strong beers, and they're both in big bottle format. So they're like 14 and 13 pounds respectively. But man, look how good they look. And I bet they taste phenomenal as well. I'm a big fan of quadrupel, so I'll probably be trying one of those. And kudos to the labels as well. I did ask, and apparently, let me get this right. It's Nick the head brewer. His mother is an artist. I think they're wonderful, especially like the Grand Bazaar label. I think that kind of lends itself really, really well. The Appalachian Trail's good as well. So that's beers, and I do have arriving tomorrow, partly by request, but partly because we do their beers a lot. There's some ABC Alphabet Brew Co. from Manchester arriving, and we've still got all the regular Belgian, Northern French, German lagers as well. So come and get stocked up on beer if you're needing beer, especially for the nice sunny weather we're going to get this weekend.